Hello, Houston. This is Elizabeth Miranda, your bilingual realtor with Miranda Properties, and welcome to our show, Casa y Vida Houston. Today is a wonderful Thursday in Houston, Texas, and I hope you're enjoying the weather. Well, the first thing we want to do today is to tell you about our sponsor. So we could put that picture up. Our sponsor is Susie Kondelopoulos with Gateway Mortgage. There we go. So Susie Kondelopoulos is our show sponsor. And if you are looking for a home loan, you're looking to buy a home, please contact her. Her phone number is on the screen, and it is 281-250-2696. So you can get a hold of her for any home loan applications. The next thing we want to do on our show before we go into our guests is to tell you about a home buying fair, Cinco de Mayo home buying fair. And let's see if we can have that one on the screen also. There we go. It is Cinco de Mayo Housing Fair at Plaza Americas. Now that's going to take place on May the 5th at Plaza de Americas on the second floor. And let me see there. The time is at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So they're going to have basically different booths. It's presented by HMLO, the Hispanic Mortgage Lenders Organization, and they're going to have booths. They're going to talk about, they're going to have probably realtors, lenders, title companies, insurance, everything that has to do with real estate. And so you don't want to miss that. They also are going to have a lot of prizes, a lot of giveaways. So make sure that you go out to that event on Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th. All right. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on to our first guest. Our first guest on our show today is Jose Velez, and he is with BankWorks. So welcome, Jose Velez, to our show.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. So tell us about this program, BankWorks, please.
So BankWorks is a program that's been around for over 10 years. It started out in Los Angeles, and what we do is we help people get jobs in the banking industry. So what we've done is we partner with banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, BBVA, Compass, Capital One, and a few others. And what we do is we prepare you for a job in retail banking. So we have a curriculum that's bank approved, and we teach you everything they want you to know to help you get that job. It's a free program. It meets 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 4 at Sarah Jobs for Progress on the east side of Houston. And basically, we go over all the fundamentals of starting a job at a bank. So we go over things. We start the program with customer service, problem solving. Then we move into banking basics, which include things like lending, interest, regulations, types of accounts, just your fundamental things. And then we move into sales, because sales in banking is very different than your regular retail sales. There's not this pressure that you really encounter in retail that you can really avoid in banking, which is what I enjoyed about it. Okay. And then finally, we help you get the job by working with you on your resume and your interview. So throughout the class, we drill you on interview questions. And then finally, at the end of the program, we have a graduation and a job fair where we set you up with different employers so that you can get the job that you've been working so hard to get. In general, most of our classes end up somewhere between 70 and 90% of the students getting a job with one of our sponsors.
Wow.
If they happen not to get sponsors to hire them, though, we do have other banks that we work with that that do also like our students. For example, we just ended a class, and half of our students were hired by non-sponsors. So we have a lot of banks that we work with. We have a great staff, including myself, that support you every step of the way. Everything you need is completely provided by the course. So the only material you need to have ready is basically a pen and a piece of paper to take notes with.
And who is this program for? In other words, who does it accept?
This program is for people who are looking to start a career in banking. We don't really have any limitations in terms of age or race or anything like that. But in Houston, we find that it's you can be a little bit more successful when you speak Spanish, because there's so many banks out there looking for bilingual employees. Another great thing about this job is that it tends to pay really well. Right now, Wells Fargo went up to $15 an hour for a teller.
Oh, wow.
Let's see, Capital One is going to $15 an hour for a teller by the end of this year. Comerica is already at $15 an hour. So these aren't jobs that you're going to get at McDonald's paying you $7.25 an hour. These are really well-paying jobs that can lead to a pretty robust career. Because in banking, there's so many options that you could go into that whatever your interest is, you can find a way to get that job through banking, and that's something that I really enjoy about our program.
Wow, that sounds super awesome. So tell me, how long is the program again when someone comes in?
It's 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Our next class is starting on April 30th, and it's 3 days a week. And basically the process to get into our class is to contact Sarah. Our phone number is 713-773-6000, and you can contact either line 105 or 145. Again, that's line 105 or 145. And basically we do a quick phone interview, make sure you meet a couple minimum requirements that all the jobs have, and then we invite you to come on site for testing. So we do a math test, a reading test, a typing test, and then an interview, because we want to make sure that we can get you the job that you're looking to work for.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Well, that's awesome. Sorry, we have our next guest ready to come on pretty soon. Not a problem. So definitely that sounds good. So it's not just for children, it's
No.
for adults.
Yes.
Now, do they have to be low income or anything to that effect?
No, there's no limitations on that end at all. All you have to do is have a passion for helping people. We've taken people as young as 18 and as old as 65.
Oh, wow.
So as long as you think you could do this job and you have some experience in either customer service, cash handling, or sales, that's really what we're looking for. You'll have an opportunity to join the class.
But there's got to be some kind of screening process. I mean, does everyone get accepted? Or?
No. That's why we do the testing and the interviews to find the people who would be a good fit for the job.
And how often do you accept new people into the program?
We do classes once a quarter. So we just finished our first quarter. Now we're moving into our second quarter class. So we'll have a class in April, then again in July, and then again in October. And we do this year-round, constantly.
Okay. So awesome. Any information that I missed? And if not, then
something that really makes our program stand out above all others is that because the banks are participating with us, they will interview you before your real interview and give you real feedback so that you know when it comes time to show up that you've gotten some really important feedback so that you are effective in your job interview. So they will help you get the job before you actually interview with that bank, which I think is a really great benefit to a lot of people.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that sounds like wonderful. Well, there you have it. Everyone, if you are looking for a job in the banking industry, right, whether it's as a teller or in any other kind of position, and you need some training, then you can contact SET and and fill out the application, get tested, and see if, you can qualify for this program. And again, the pay is excellent.
Yes, very good.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that information. And of course, you're going to stay on for our Spanish show so that you can provide this information in Spanish. So entonces, él estará con nosotros en español en el segmento, en el programa, a la 1:30 también, para que oigan de los trabajos de trabajar con el banco. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and go on to a commercial break. So we thank you for being on this segment. We're going to go on to a commercial break, and we will bring on our next speaker. Hola, estamos de nuevo con el programa Casa y Vida Houston. We are back with our English section of Casa and Vida Houston, and we have our next guest. Our next guest, who is Ruby Miranda, and she is the Texas Queen of Real Estate. Welcome, Ruby, to our show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
You're very welcome. Well, let me tell you, first of all, we have the same last name, so I will tell you that we do have, she is my daughter, so we will tell you that. But more importantly, let me tell you that the reason we have Ruby here is because she is actually the president of NAREP Houston. So, Ruby, would you tell us what NAREP Houston is?
Well, NAREP is a professional organization, and what we do is we focus on educating the practitioner, basically the realtors, the insurance people, lenders, educating the practitioner to better serve the community so that we can overall have sustainable home ownership in the Hispanic community. And really it's about, building wealth, helping Hispanics build wealth through home ownership.
Exactly. So Ruby, of course, what does NAREP, the letter, stand for?
National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
Right. And so you are the president of the Houston chapter, but
Yes.
it's actually a national organization, right?
It is a national organization. It's actually a very large national organization. Our goal actually is to have 100 chapters by the end of this year throughout the nation. We're extremely close to it. Houston is one of a large metro, so we do have a couple of sister chapters here. So that we can make sure that we serve all the practitioners. We're able to serve everybody, and it is a great organization to be involved with.
Yes, absolutely. I know that you've got over, I believe I read online, over 30,000 members.
Yes, 30,000 members, and actually our goal this year for our national conference, which is going to be coming up in September, is to have 4,000 attendees, which is totally doable compared to our numbers were last year. If we can increase it by just a pinch, we'll hit that 4,000.
Okay, so tell us, what is it that we're seeing some pictures right now on the screen of some of the events that you have. Tell us what it is that you do. What kind of events do you have in Houston for the real estate agents?
Really, it's like I said, the events that we have are to improve the overall quality, service, and just and overall everything on the practitioner. So one of the first events we had this year was called Sales Math, and it was our installation event, and we had a great speaker out there. He kind of told us the formula for finishing out the year strong. Because at the beginning of the year you start your goal planning, goal setting, and so one of the things that we're doing is helping those practitioners put those practices in place on what they need to do and how to better connect with the people. The other event that we had was destroying the lending myth, because there's a lot of myths out there that people are messing up and not knowing, and we want to make sure that overall that the information that is out there is the right information. So we're putting the information directly in the realtor's hands and the lender's hands so they can communicate that back to their clients.
Okay, well, that sounds awesome. And what is your membership here in Houston?
Currently, we have 256 members, and we are growing. So every event that we have, we add on about 25, 30 members, and that's really great. And these events both events that we've had have been standing room only, have been sold out. The desire for the knowledge that we offer is so strong out there right now.
Yes, absolutely. And who can join? Is it only real estate agents, or who's able
No,
to join?
everybody. If you are in the real estate, if you work in the real estate industry, whether it is a realtor, lender, insurance, or any type of vendor that works with the real estate community, you're welcome to come out to our events. We have opportunities to partner with us so that you can put tables out there, so that you can get banners, you can get speaking time. So we do have other things that we do. We partner with a lot of people, appraisers. Even, we have as NAREP the 10 principles that we really stand by, and that goes everywhere from wealth to health to just everything along those lines that make us strong people in our industry. Because if we're going to be strong and really serve the community on a business level, we have to be strong on a personal level.
Well, that's awesome. Well, let me ask you this, Ruby. Does a person have to be Hispanic to join NAREP?
Absolutely not. A large portion of our members are not Hispanics, because here's the thing. It's not just Hispanics that are serving Hispanics. It's everybody across the board. And this is why NAREP is important, because it's important. As Hispanics, we know the culture. We know how our people are when we're dealing with them. But sometimes you have people who are not Hispanic that don't know the culture, and they don't realize that there's slight differences. We're very similar in aspects, but like anything, like a prime example with Hispanics versus American buyers is that a lot of times Hispanic buyers, it's a family event. Even if it's a young couple buying a house, their mom and dad is involved, aunts and uncles are involved in the overall making decision. A lot of times they're pooling their money together, and so that they can get into a house, and they're pooling their resources together. Theo can fix this, my tia can do this, my dad can do this, and so it does become a family decision. And they have to understand. We have to teach everybody who's not in our culture that is a norm. It's not out of the ordinary. It is something that's very normal for it to be a family event, even for American-born Hispanics.
And that is very, very true. I'll tell you that. As a realtor myself, I can tell you that our our clientele, or the Hispanic clientele, is different from the non-Hispanic, and so we have to be understanding to that, right? When we go and we show home, and they bring 10 people with them to make the decision, you know.
And I was gonna, and actually say it's definitely like it's even American born. Like, I am very Americanized. Obviously, I was born in the United States, and English is my first language and all that. But I always tell my husband, who's not Hispanic, that I never felt as Mexican until I got married to somebody who's not Mexican, because things that I thought were just regular, normal, everyday things, like everybody did it, I realized that it was not. It was part of my culture. It was how I was raised. Like, things that I thought were just like everybody did it, it wasn't. It was a Hispanic thing.
Yeah, so it is important. It's all about culture. It's about learning about that culture.
It is.
Yes, there are differences. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is that you were on the cover of Realtor, what is it, Houston Realtor Magazine, and I think we can put that on the screen. Right, that is the magazine, the monthly magazine of HAR.
Yes, for
which
the Houston Association of Realtors publication that comes out.
Right, and so tell me, Ruby, why are you on this cover? Who are the other people that are on there?
The other people on the cover are some of the other leaders in the multicultural organizations here in Houston. We have the Houston Black Association, the Houston Asian Associations, actually 2 different Asian associations, and we have the different organizations. So we're being represented there because this year marks the 50th anniversary of fair housing. And fair housing is basically just everything that they told us, hey, don't discriminate against people, race, creed, color, religion, and there's a whole section of those. And April, actually, this month, the mayor of Houston actually announced that this month is officially Multicultural Month for Houston. So every year in April, we will be celebrating the Multicultural Month and fair housing in general.
Yes, that's very important. The thing is that, it's important that people realize that you can't discriminate, right? You cannot discriminate when it comes to housing. And some of the protected, there are some protected classes. There are some protected classes, which of course include race, color, religion, or national origin, when I have sex, and family status. So those are the things, the protected classes that you just can't discriminate. And I tell you, I'll be honest with you, I have people who call me often, some of my clients, that say, well, I want you to find me a house in a certain area, but I don't want to live among certain types of people. Is that okay?
That is not okay.
It is not okay. It might be okay maybe in your mind, maybe you want to think that way, that's fine, but I always tell my clients, we can't do that. That's going to get us in trouble, right?
As a matter of fact, I know that whenever I go on a listing appointments, one of the examples I give them is, when I get down to the section that talks about that, is that I cannot discriminate against sex, color, creed, any of that stuff. And if you tell me don't show my house to purple people, I got to show it to purple people. And if you don't want me to show it to them, then I can't be your realtor, because I cannot agree to break the law.
Right. Right, that's very important, and that's one of the things, guys, that I think that it's important to become members of organizations like NAREP, because that is one of the things that we certainly stress, is we educate not only the consumer, right, but we actually do that by educating the real estate professional, right, to know what they're doing, to not discriminate, and to be sensitive to different cultures.
And I'd love if I have an opportunity to read to you what we had in the magazine here as far as what fair housing is.
Absolutely, please.
Fair housing means all people, regardless of who they are, can build generational wealth and long-term security through home ownership. It can change the economic future of a family, not just today, but for generations. Homeowners take more pride in their home and neighborhoods. Home ownership changes lives. And that is so true, because here's the thing. Every house that I sell is not just affecting that couple that is being put into that house today. It's affecting every generation that comes after them, whose their children have a higher probability of becoming homeowners, and their children after that have a higher probability of becoming homeowners at a quicker rate. And every time they do it, their lifestyle is getting better and better and better. So we're building generational wealth through home ownership.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Very, very important. And that's the thing is that honestly, people don't realize that, I've talked about it rather in the last few shows that we've had, that purchasing a home is actually an investment. It's not only a financial investment, right? Because your house is gonna go up in value, it's gonna appreciate, but also it's an investment in your family, right? Because your family gets to live in the same house, they get to, your children get to go to the same school, have the same friends, and grow up in a community, and you also get to be part of a community. So I think that it's very important to our communities, and like I said, it's an investment not only in financially but in in your family. Wouldn't you
Yeah, and
agree?
like I said, and overall, when I say that it changes lives, it really does, because homeowners do take better care of their houses. They take better care of the neighborhoods. They're more observant. They're more conscientious of their neighbors, of what's going on, to making sure that they look over everything. And one of the things that they really that it really does is, again, just change the environment, so that children can grow up in a stronger environment, better neighborhoods, better schools, and overall just a better life.
Well, thank you so much for that information, Ruby. One of the things that, changing the topic a little bit here, you've given us some very valuable information, but I want to talk about something, a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about you. People might be wondering, why does Ruby have a crown? Can you tell us a little bit about the crown, by the way?
Well, I would say I am Ruby Miranda. I am the Texas Queen of Real Estate, and that has been my brand for the past 12 years. I've been in real estate for 12 years, and that's been my brand for 12 years. I actually just started wearing the crown full-time back in October, I believe. And so originally what started was that I hated the headshot that I had on my business cards. And my husband, because my husband had woke me up in the middle of the night and told me, take a picture right here. And I took the picture, and I hated it because I was cute from up top and wearing sweats from the bottom. We went on our honeymoon, and I was like, well, when else could a grown woman wear a tiara all 7 days? So I wore the tiara the 7 days of the honeymoon, got great pictures on the cruise. I was like, oh, I love that picture. If only I didn't have the stupid tiara on. And the lady behind me she's like, oh, well, what do you do? And I told her what I did for a living, that I was a realtor. She's like, you could be like the Texas Queen of Real Estate. I was like, OMG. And right there on a Carnival cruise ship, the Texas Queen of Real Estate was born. And I started using it as my tagline. And ever since, I have been using that. And again, it's going to be about 8 months that I've been wearing it that I've been wearing the tiara every day full time. And in January, I made a declaration that I am going to own the Queen, because I do feel like I am the Queen of Real Estate. I'm very comfortable in my business that I do. I'm very comfortable in building my team and being representative of NAREP Houston.
Well, you certainly are very deserving of it. Thank you again, Ruby, so much for being on our show. And everyone, that concludes our show for today. Again, I'm Elizabeth Miranda, and I was going to say the Texas Queen of Real Estate. I am your bilingual realtor with Miranda Properties, and you can watch us every Thursday at 1 o'clock in English, and we have our Spanish show at 1:30. We will see you next time. Thank you so much, Ruby, again.
Thank you so much for having me.